Good morning, everybody. It's me, your Irish little laddie, and then welcome to a brand new multi-episode project. In today's episode, it's all about building. We're going to talk about how to make your houses go from this to this, all while I make my own house do that right along the way with you. Today's episode is episode number 40. Already, I can't believe it, episode number 40, but you know what that means. Channel members, there's a brand new world download out right now. Check it out. Hey, wait just a second. I was just walking around through the meadow. Where did you come from, good lad, good friend? Poor cat. You're lost. Judging by the sounds and the appearance of this poor kitten right here, it seems that the villager breeder must be working and running overtime here. I don't know how I'm gonna trap you inside of a boat so I can keep you safe for now. Gotcha. I gotcha. I knew I would get you sooner or later. Poor kitty, you wait there. I'll get fish soon. Building a house, whether you're doing it for you or whether you're doing it for a redacted upcoming project that we'll talk about next episode, if you don't know where to start, well, it's gonna be really difficult to start. For today's episode, we're gonna split this house building extravaganza into 5 and maybe 6 different parts, 5 main ones. Part number 1 is coming up with the idea for the build. If you're going to be building a house in your world, well, why are you building a house? Is this brand new beautiful abode going to be the hub for your massive base? Or is it maybe just going to be a building inside of it? Also, what kind of style do you want to do with this house? Are you going for a medieval vibe to the max? Are you going for a modern vibe? Or are you going for a cozy, cherry, aesthetic vibe? Like, what's the feel? What are you thinking? Now, great news. For us today, I've already answered all of those questions for myself. When it comes to the style of the build, I want to try and make it match some of the buildings that we've done in this world so far, specifically this cow farm. I'm feeling so inspired by what I did with that roof. I really like it. I like to try and maybe replicate pieces of that build on this new build today. I also know that this build, it cannot be located anywhere near that thing, and it can't be located anywhere near that thing as well. So when it comes to this build, I kind of got the idea for the style that I want to do, and I kind of have the idea for what I want to actually build. The final thing that I'm going to need to pick before I start building my build is where exactly do I want to put it. And I think this is the spot, right next to my home sweet home. So the first stage of your building process is all about the ideas. Come up with the idea for what exactly you want to build, and then look around your world and figure out exactly where you want to end up putting it. Next up, it's time to get a little bit more inspired, because right now, this is basically all I got. Well, I guess I got that thing too. Oh, so sad. Inspiration for your biggest and newest build can come from many different places. One of my favorite places is Google Images. One quick little dig into the bin of beautiful inspiration, and boom, look at all of these amazing options that we got here. Now, depending on what you want to do with your build, maybe you love this thing right here. After all, it is beautiful. There's circles all over the place. Maybe take it and try and basically just recreate it inside of your world, putting your own twist on it. But no hate, no shade to it. That's kind of like the easy way. Instead, what I want to show you today is using this little bit of inspiration all over the place here, how we could actually create our own beautiful masterpiece that hopefully one day we'll find right in here among these beautiful shader looking houses. So it's not that my world is really meant to be a medieval world or anything, but I feel like medieval is the perfect word that I could probably use to get closer to exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to inspiration for my house. If you could find a picture of a house that you really like say, I don't know, maybe this one right here, while using a good shot of a cool house that somebody has already built, that can help you get the ideas flowing, truly, once you're inside of your world and try to actually place the blocks down. Another interesting place that I feel like is always forgotten when it comes to inspiration is actually, nowadays, Minecraft itself. Ever since really the 1.13 update, the devs have been on fire with their modern structures. I mean, the villages, they're very small and simple buildings, but some of them do start to get a little bit more advanced. Maybe you could take a look around your world, maybe the direct surrounding what you're living by, to find the exact kind of style that you want to do. Maybe this right there, you want a balcony or something. Well, boom, there's a little bit of inspo. This kind of goes away from the set that we're on right now, but another thing the Minecraft builds are great for, the vanilla ones, are small decoration and detail ideas. This small stand right here, the Woodland Mansion added in 1.12 or something. It's got a bunch of custom rooms with statues and stuff. Take a look at the game's structures and maybe pull some inspiration from that. Now, just like we talked about in the tragic mob boat episode, there are layers to this stuff. How big do you want your house to be? Are we talking humble abode, or are we talking big YouTuber mansion? What are you thinking? We got tiny builds, probably not the best for a house. We got small builds, we got medium-sized builds, and we even have gigantic large builds. In my opinion, it's probably going to be a little bit easier to make a beautiful looking house if you keep it like a small or medium. At least if you're newer to building. Reasoning behind that one, laddies, it's too straightforward. You see, the bigger you make your build, the more space you're going to have to detail, fill up, and of course, occupy on your build. If you have a gigantic, massive mansion and you don't really know what you're doing when it comes to building, depth, detail, all of that stuff, then it's just going to be a little bit more difficult for you. Instead, if you decide to build your build maybe a little bit smaller, you can really get crazy with the details, crunch them, pack them in, and make the thing look really, really nice. Also, I'm just saying, if you take a quick look at Minecraft houses on Google, you'll find that a majority of these houses are small to medium-sized houses. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't make a gigantic house look really, really beautiful. It's just that's gets a little bit more advanced for building. Now, believe it or not, inside of our world here, inside of our cursed and terrible bird-ridden world. Yeah, believe it or not, inside of our world here so far, out of the 2 houses that we've built inside of this world, both houses have been basically one shape. With the OG starter house, it was essentially a square, and then we've got this one that's like a little bit bigger, getting medium, large size house here, but it's just a rectangle. We're gonna step it up today. For our build, for the Redacted upcoming project, I think I would like to step it up, and maybe not do one shape, but how about 2? Kinda just like that one. 2 shapes here, keeping it relatively small. Immediately, by doing 2 shapes, we're gonna move away from the classic green top box right there. Now, the 2 shapes I'm thinking is pretty straightforward. I want to have rectangle A right there, and then maybe rectangle B right there. After you've got your idea cracked out and good to go, and after you find a little bit more inspiration and got really, really inspired, next up, it's time to move into the planning stage of your build. When planning a build, big, small, medium, large, wide, or tall, I highly recommend move into a creative world with some colorful looking blocks, and maybe just start by building out different shapes. Depending on how advanced you want to get your build, we're talking 2 shapes or maybe even more shapes. Sliding into a creative world and building out vague, simple, basic shapes, maybe with some colorful blocks on the ground, is a great way to start to get a feel for your build. By placing out some random colorful blocks on the ground right here, I can start to actually bring my vision to life in the very, very basic form of it. Also, by building out your build with basic shapes on the ground, this might help you come up with a little bit of inspiration for your interior later on. Like with this crazy build that I'm designing right here, I have a circular spot right there. Then I can clearly see, ooh, I got a room for maybe a different room over there, a storage room maybe. Over here in the back of the build, that could totally be like an enchanting room or something later on once I do the build and, kind of cut out the interior parts. Over here, I got a circle. Oh, that's kind of like an advanced maneuver right there. I could do a circle and it's like a tall tower or something like that. I'm getting all this crazy inspiration off the top of my head by literally just placing shapes down in the world and kind of thinking about what I want my build to be for and what I want to do later. Now this build, maybe we'll come back to that one a little bit later on, but for today, I'm thinking this one right over here. When planning out my build, I've got a rectangle. It's going to be 5 blocks long and 10 blocks... 5 blocks wide and 10 blocks long, yeah. Then over here, I've got a different rectangle. This is going to be 7 blocks long and 5 blocks wide. Now over here on the front of the build, I know for sure that I want to have some windows going on. That's what I was kind of placing out here with my shape creation. This way I can get my dimensions exactly right. Over here, I know I want to have the front of the build. Usually, in my opinion, building in an odd amount of blocks for a front of the build, it's a great way to make it look really, really good and pull off cool roofs too. Speaking of the roofs of the build, once I figure out 2 different shapes and kind of lock them together somehow, maybe avoiding weird flat connections, so this rectangle sticks out a little past this one, then it's time to consider the roof of the build as well. Now, inside of this world, if you wanted to, you could go crazy and try and build your entire build. To make this episode a little bit more interesting for you, I'm not going to do that, but I do recommend it. But if you think you're ready to just kind of go for it with just the basic shapes here, another thing you could do is off to the side of the build, maybe with a different color, try out a couple different roof shapes. I highly recommend when adding a roof to your house, always have it overhang at least 1 block, maybe even more. So what I'm doing over here is I'm thinking a simple 45-degree angle roof right there, solid blocks or something, and it's going to hang off the front by 1 block, and the same thing on the back, hang off by 1 block. 5 blocks wide is one of my favorite widths to do on a building, to be honest, because with 5 blocks wide, we can make this really sick looking roof that is like really sloped, tall, and kind of like medieval and grand feeling. I'm thinking with this part of the roof, we could do like maybe 1 block and then like slope up dramatically, something like that. Or maybe I could make it even more dramatic, I guess, by like start the slope a little smoother. Yeah. Let's start the slope smoother and make it like curve like that. Yeah, I think I like that a little bit more. Now, another thing we'll talk about a little bit more once we get to actually building the build here is because we're going to have different roof lines, it might be a good idea to have different heights of our boxes too. Maybe I'll end up making this box a little bit taller and this one a little bit shorter. That'll avoid any weirdness with the roof. Block pallet. Oh, they're a very important aspect of any Minecraft build. Big house, little house, small minuscule crab, a big medium armadillo. One of the final things you might want to crack out here over inside of your creative world before you jump back into your survival world and get to building is, what kind of blocks do you want to build this cartoony monstrosity out of? I was thinking for our build today, maybe I'll use like some stones. I was thinking maybe stones on that yellow part of the build. That could be cool. And then maybe like, I don't know, oak wood on this other part of the build. That'll go like a cool feel. I was thinking maybe on the roof here, we could come in with a little bit of deep slate and then, oh boy, I'm feeling inspired by those trial ruined structure. I want to use a little bit of copper on this build as well. Maybe eventually fully oxidized as well, but for today, I might just say the orange version. I think copper roof on that part, deep slate on that part, and maybe a little bit of spruce logs too. Baby, I think we got it. Before we get to building, one final word of advice. Highly recommend, at least like considering, don't rule it out. Maybe inside of that creative world, building your build, getting some good screenshots, and then sliding over to the survival world and, really try to crack the build out there. There is nothing wrong at all with designing something in a separate world, then coming over and trying to build it in survival. Might even save you time. So lads, laddies, all the way into the episode, if you haven't tapped that like button, do me a huge favor and tap like. By tapping like, you ensure that our dear friend Tree Choppers is the most happy tree chopping lad in the land. Let's do this. Alright, so guys, I'm stumped. I don't know what to do. These cherry trees are so beautiful. Like, that's the perfect shape. And same with that one right there, but like, I don't know if they're gonna be in the way. I have a feeling this might kind of be in the way, but I think for now we're good to go. The cornerstone of our house, it will forever sit right there. This is gonna be a really important build, guys. Really important. So at this point in our build today, laddies, it might vary quite a bit for you. If you spent a solid good bit of time over inside of your other world already building your build, it's time to jump over into your survival world and essentially just copy it. On the other hand, if you're like me and you're jumping into your survival world relatively blind here with just like a vague inspiration, it's time to get those proper blocks good in depth. Now, so look here, this is what I'm thinking. For now, this land right here in front of the build, that is higher up, but very soon, not too far off, it'll all be lower down. I want to have this central area on like 1 block level. That'll look cool. I think I'll probably also continue lowering the build all the way around this build too, even over where Bones. So you're angry. Oh, Bones, so you're mad at me. What? For voting for the crab? You said I abandoned you. By voting for the crab? Come on, you don't know if I voted for the crab or not. I didn't tell you. I never said it, okay? You know. I gotta lower the ground, but I also want to raise the build up. I was thinking this build, it needs to feel like safe and secure. Because of what I'm gonna end up putting inside of this build a little bit later on, as in like next episode or whatever, I need it to feel like really safe. I also am just now realizing I had set my build up like way too short. I took a look at the inside, I was like, wait a second, there's like no room there. So now that I've got the proper dimensions on my build, I can kind of look at it and see that it's gonna look something like that. Now, after I have this like solid base in here, nice and tall, we'll have like staircase stepping up to the build or something. That'll be cool. I want to start doing the rest of the build. I know for rectangle number B over here, I want to do a whole lot of stone. I think that'll be cool. I was thinking maybe almost like stone brick base and like cobblestone all the way up. Meanwhile, on the other side of the build over here, I want to do a whole lot of oak, but instead of like logs like that, we're stripping. That'll make it look a little bit different than all the builds over here, while still making it match a little bit. But now I've hit a big problem. In fact, 2 big, giant, whopping problems. Cobblestone, I used it all up. That's all that I had. In Oakwood, I've got a farm going. I'll be right back. Oh, this is awkward. This is real awkward. Oh, and I didn't mean to do that either. All right, I'm gonna have to be really careful here. That's not good. Just a little bit of time later, in the romantically moody rain here, I am finishing up today's build. Project Redacted will eventually live inside of this beautiful little box that I've set up over here. So I was farming the trees a little bit. I definitely still need to farm a little bit more trees. I also went ahead and made an iron pickaxe, mine a full pickaxe worth of cobblestone, so I should be good for a while. Basically, long story short, things are going, but not only going, they're going good over here right now. It's going very nice. I also lowered all the land over here. One thing that I did on this build so far, though, if you notice it closely, is no detail. Right now, in the pouring rain together, we're in the 4th step of our whole building extravaganza today. This step is basically like the building step, where you just do the build. After this step, we'll worry about the details and making this build come alive. When it comes to details on this build, all that I basically added is a spot where I want to put the door and maybe potential window locations as well. I've got a cool way to spice up that box. We'll do that later on. And a very obvious way to spice that up too. But next up, it's time for the roof. Deep slate, beep slate. Laddies, I need your help. I need to come up with some kind of project that we could work on inside of the base over here at the world that would rack me up a lot of deep slate. What do you think? Should I set up some kind of like branch mine or something at the base in one of these next episodes? Maybe talk all about that, and yeah, just do that because that would cut me all the way down to the bottom of the world. Then I could like easily go down there and mine deep slate. Otherwise, I kind of am lost. I don't know really how to get more deep slate in this world, being like all up on the surface and everything. I considered removing a full chunk again, but that wouldn't be a lot all the way from the top of the mountain. I'd have to do it from the fjord or something. So you help me out with that whenever you get the chance, and to now, the build, the roof. First things first, we're gonna get the outline in and make sure I like it, and yes, definitely checks out. One thing that I would recommend is if you're doing like a taller roof like this, make sure you compensate, like offset it by making your build nice and tall too. If you have a build that is too short and then a tall roof, it'll look weird. Then analyzing what's going on here with the rest of the build, I suppose we can finish it off by kind of just filling that in. 100%, I'll definitely come back in and make that look a little bit better, but for now that checks out. Hey, whoa. Haha, another cave right next to the bamboo farm. That's cool. Copper. I think when it comes to copper, I know when it comes to copper, I'm rolling in it. We got so much copper. This is not going to be a problem. I was thinking too, for a majority or maybe even all of today's build, we're going to do cut copper. So that like cuts it into 4s, and yeah, we're going to be set. Set for life even. Now, one other part of the build here that I kind of completely forgot about is outlining my future copper beautiful roof with something. I think outline the future beautiful copper roof with something. Oh, it's all like slabs or something. We could probably come up with slabs that go like all the way like that, dark oak slabs. Yeah, that would look good with like the green copper that we're gonna pull into the build, and that'll look good. Also, this is what I was saying about setting your roof lines off. So that part of the build was taller than the other one, but I think I want to start the roof right where I started it right there. To make it be like offset and not smoothly connecting or nothing like that, I'm using slabs instead. And how about a crazy thing at the end too? That could be cool. Copper, and even more copper. Oh my gosh, I love copper so much. Like, look, I've always liked it since it was added in 1.17 or whatever, but like, I don't know what it is inside of this world. I'm like on a roll when it comes to copper. I just kind of like love it, and I actually really am so excited for like the trial chamber. Sorry, the name is so close, I keep mixing it up. The trial chamber structure with like all of that new copper stuff inside of it. That's gonna be so amazing. I love that the devs have heard the community out finally too, and they're like coming back around to copper and saying, hey, yeah, you know, like that was meant to be a building block. We probably should have a little bit more copper in the game, shouldn't we? And they're like actually doing it. So you remember what I said. Later on, eventually, we're going to have fully oxidized copper. Now, I don't really have a copper oxidization station or machine or anything like that in this world, so without all that kind of fancy contraptions, all that I could really do, and all that I am going to do for now, is just slap the copper in the build, something like this right here, and then give it time. Eventually, I know it for sure, it will oxidize. I'll come back, and it'll be beautiful looking. Now, roofs could be a little bit tricky because, see, over here on this wall, I have the wall popping out, and it's, like, gonna be a little bit awkward looking. An easy way to fix that up is to just create a small roof overhang. To make that small roof overhang, essentially, all that I need to do is build the roof out a little bit more. If I keep building the roof out, kind of like I'm doing right here, it'll not only give the roof a proper, solid way to end, but it creates a little bit more depth on the side of the build. Depth is key when setting up a good-looking build. Now, moving up and on to our final part of the build before we can start really going crazy with the details here, we got this side of the roof. Now, at this point in the build today, because I'm getting so close to detail and the details are going to come out immediately, I know that I want to do spruce wood on this part of the roof. I was thinking maybe like strip spruce logs every so often and spruce planks. That'll look really, really good. Then, I was also thinking maybe I could make small little... I learned this from one of the comments of the other episode. Small little dormers, I think they're called. I could make small dormers on the top of this build with like maybe trap doors or something, you know, looking like that. But then back on the inside of the build, to make this look really deep, a little bit of black wool as well. I think I can work with it from the inside and, yeah, make it work. Now, I was also thinking here, maybe to add even more detail to it and make it look like kind of cool from a distance. We could do like dark oak fence gates in here too to make it look like there's like a, I guess kind of like a proper room or something like that. That's gonna mean our final dormer thing. I really hope that's the name. The final dormer will end up sitting right over there. Then easily and beautifully, to make it look detailed from far away, all I need to do is keep putting on a little bit more logs and a couple planks as well. Maybe up top here, using a little bit of trickery with some slate or something, we could do something cool on the end of the roof like that. So it kind of like starts to curve up or something. That could be pretty sweet. Oh, you know what? No. Let me cook. In fact, we could have it like curve up and then maybe curve slowly back in or something like that until it maybe like just flattens out on this middle part of the roof. That could be cool. Oh, it's a sign. It's a sign I had the exact amount of blocks I needed. Worked out flawlessly. Yeah, that's awesome. But we're gonna have a problem, and that is, of course, the other side of the roof. When you have multiple tricky roof lines, kind of like I have here, merging together, things can get a little bit weird. I think to prevent the weirdness today, what I'll do is I'll maybe start by creating a dark oak line, going from the top all the way down to the bottom on the other side. And then after that, once I've established my dark oak line, I'm just gonna come in here and fill in the rest of the roof. Because I already kind of have a lot going on over here, I don't need to worry about these top dormers on this side. I think it'll be fine. Moving into the detail phase of the build today, one little trick that you could do to spice up your roof is, of course, add things on the roof, like those rooms. Another cool little trick that you could do that I love to do involves slabs. Up on your roof, if you have like a flat section, kind of like I have over here, to maybe spice it up a little bit, grab some slabs, maybe just randomly kind of throw them in there. Using a couple strategically placed slabs, you can make it look like your roof almost has like a little bit more detail to it and depth. And when it comes to the copper roof over here, I think I'll do the exact same thing. I'll start by making these side things pop up a little bit more. I think that'll look nice. And then on the center, in the middle, a couple more copper slabs randomly thrown all over the place. That'll do the trick. Where in the world do all of you guys keep coming from? I swear, I've lit up every cave in a 7-mile radius. Now check this, just like I did on the roof, a great way to detail up a part of your build that maybe has quite a bit of planks is use stripped logs with the planks. Usually, if you're using like whatever kind of plank, the stripped log will match pretty much perfectly. Basically, the only time that doesn't exactly happen is dark oak logs for whatever reason. By coming in here and digging out some of these planks, I'm breaking up the plank texture and giving a little bit more texture detail. Glass panes. Where there is a window, there will be a pane. You need to put the panes in the window. I'm thinking clear glass panes over here and probably clear glass panes over here too. This is the part of the build where I call coppery, detailed, cool looking bunny things. So in a minute here, real soon, we're gonna put a porch on this build and that'll look really nice. Above the porch, I know for sure that I wanna have some kind of awning thing going on. Now I don't know exactly how I wanna set this awning thing up quite yet, but I was thinking maybe something like that. Like copper and slabs and maybe like another slab or two in the back right there. Yeah, maybe that. That could look nice. Fences, oh boy, fences are a crazy hard way to detail. You go ahead and slap a couple fences on your build and immediately it starts to look a whole lot better. I was thinking maybe up here too, we could like, I don't know, I feel like this might look kind of cool at the top, like some turned logs intentionally in there. I don't know, it's a little bit of detail. Trapdoors, I like trapdoors too. They're pretty cool looking. Front porch. Let's see what I could do. Maybe we could start with like some logs towering all the way up to there and then I could stripe them. Get a little bit of a different tone going on in here, that could be pretty cool. Now, one of the coolest looking blocks for detailing a build, in my opinion, but it's so expensive, is the note block. The designs, the details on the note block, they're so cool looking. I'm not using oak wood for that, though. So I was thinking, what if I maybe almost did something like this? We could have the staircases kind of turned like that. That could be kind of cool looking. And then maybe to like actually properly walk our way all the way up to the thing, we could do real staircases going up. I don't know. Maybe something like that, I'm not too sure. Then we could have the note blocks come in here. Maybe like note blocks sitting right there. Ooh, that's cool looking. Yeah. Because then from the side, you have like that's like, it almost looks like, I forget what you call it, but like the thing under a porch that is like all, you know, graded and whatever. On the front, we'll have to add maybe like some fences sticking out to make it look better. But yeah, I think that could be cool. And you walk up and then boom, you're inside of the build. The fences. I can't remember. Did I never mention fences in this video quite yet? And how good they look on a build for detailing and finishing? I feel like I maybe did. We're talking fences, we're talking even more fences, and maybe one more fence. Yeah, no, look, how could I? Honestly, amateurish mistake, believe it or not. I can't believe I didn't say it yet. I can't believe I didn't talk about the glorious, the wonderful, the deep green, luscious vine. When adding detail to your build in this final step here, yeah, vines, they're one of the best things in the world. If you never have before, you've been sleeping on the wrong side of the bed, my friend, missing out on the greatest things in life. Mossy cobblestone, it's beautiful. Easiest way to decorate and detail your build. Spice it up, make it look good, add a little bit of that to it, randomly. Another insanely easy, beautiful way to decorate your build real quick here is these blocks too, the mossy stone brick. It looks so good, it comes to life. I'm gonna slap these all over the build. Honestly, when it comes to detailing your build and making it come to life, it's all you and your imagination. Whatever vision you have, you go for it, you try it out. A great way to detail windows is small planter boxes. With a couple trapdoors, some coarse dirt, and a couple flowers, of course. It's like a small little box. It kind of looks nice. Over on the build, we got the front porch with a lot of detail, and I even put a front door on it, leveling things up. I think we'll come back and add something more to the porch in a second. But wait, are those random fences that are empty? No way. Look, we talked about it before. We're gonna keep talking about it again until the very end of this series. Lanterns, and even more lovely lanterns. They're one of the most detailed looking things in the entire game. Now, eventually, you're gonna be almost done detailing the outside of the build. Almost. We'll come back in a second. After that, it's time to move to the inside of the build. Bonzo. Hi, Bonzo. You welcome me in. Thank you. So the inside of the build here, I got a little bit busy. This part of the build, it was like a weird, awkward thing, so I decided to just do like a flat ceiling in there, cover it all up. The back wall, it's a little bit plain for now. I might add something like next episode when doing Redacted. Behind us, we got the front door, and I was thinking the purple floor. That'll kind of match the vibe of what's going to go on in here. And then down low, we got a lower area. We got the windows right over here, so you could like look out the windows or something else good. I don't know. And then like, you know, a step up. It's a small, simple interior. I basically just cleaned up the roof a little bit. I worked with the shape that I already had here a little bit, and I don't know. I think it's nice. It's simple. But every single build, a good build, is not done once you finish the details on the build. To make your build truly pop and come to life, be really, really finished feeling, you've got to decorate all around your build as well. You see, if I just left my build finished today, I mean, it would look nice, but by adding a couple things, like say, gardens around the build, it'll look even better. Watch this. Now for today's comment of the day, well, we finish up a little bit of detailing. I love how Waddles puts all these hours into design building these amazing builds. Thank you so much, genuinely. Doesn't take a few minutes to make the interior of the house. Doesn't make interior of the house. Wait, what are you talking about? What interior of what house? I don't know what you're talking about. Every single house that I built inside of my world, all right, buddy? Every single interior that I've built, it's been interiored. Yeah. all right. Look. I promise, I guarantee, before episode number 50, Before that happens, I will do something with the inside of that mansion. I have some really cool ideas. I genuinely do. I just don't know what episode to put it in. Like, it'll probably take me a little bit of time. Do I just do an episode on interiors? By sliding into your build and adding as many details as you can to the thing, but also the area around it. By the end of your process today, the placement of the final lantern, you'll hopefully have not only the most cozy looking build of your world, but also a really nice and detailed looking surrounding area too. I don't know about you, but I am happy with this build. I like it. And I'm almost tempted to let the stuff stay like that. Like maybe I should wax it or something, I don't know. But anyways, the garden, the small area, the petals, like on the top, I was able to keep this tree, make it a little taller, and yeah, it's just finished. We even got a couple more decorated pots. I'll definitely put some storage in that a little bit later on. For now, today, the end of the episode, lads, we'll leave the house looking like this, but I promise you, next episode, very soon, it'll be looking really, really nice. Also, the front of the build, I'll connect it up to a path a little bit later on. Now today, instead of bonus build, I would like to show you a little trick. Today, instead of bonus build, I like to take a little bit of time and talk about shaders. Beautiful, wonderful, curvy cloud shaders. Oh my gosh. Oh wow, so shaders. If you're struggling with your build and you want to make it look really, really good, well please, allow me to introduce you finally to the world of shaders. If you're struggling with your build and the details and everything, just turn shaders on. Every build looks better with them. So this is just like the first shader that I had downloaded for Minecraft 1.20. It's nothing like special really, but like the effects that this shader does, especially to the clouds, I don't know, I kind of like it. It sticks out so differently, like almost feels weird for the game, but like, it's pretty sweet. It goes hard. The cow farm, by the way, small update on this little machine over here and how it's going. Oh, it's going. The cow farm is up and running. I'm now actually able to get food from the cow farm, which is beautiful. And the lava farm right next door, clearly it's going really, really well. My plan going forward is to use the lava farm to be able to cook up the beef inside of the smoker right there. And then this thing, I changed a couple things. I added a chest in there and, some lanterns up top. Shaders. Shaders. A question for you. Should I download maybe a different shader pack and run the next episode inside of it? Decisions. Thank you all so much for watching today's episode. Let me know how you think the build turned out down below, and hopefully it helps you when building your next house. Channel members, World Download is out right now with this brand new beautiful abode. What do you think it's for? Take a guess. For early access to every episode of this series, check out my Patreon, link down below. Drop a follow on my new Instagram, smash like, subscribe, and until next time, this has been me, Waddles. I'm gonna walk around the world and get different vantage points of the build now. Goodbye.